What is this fascination with blood in the Bible? Blood has a frequency. If we look in the Bible and we see in the New Testament, shedding of the blood for the remission of the sins. What is so important about blood? So blood, it has literally the code of Yahweh, the God of the Bible, encoded in our DNA. So these are a couple videos that go into those details.
In your genetic code, it's a double helix that right turns, and there are these sulfur bridges in the midst of every single atom that you have that has a code. And what happens is every 10 there's a bridge, and then every 5 there's a bridge, and then every 6 there's a bridge, and then every 5 there's a bridge, and then it repeats over and over and over and over again. And that's a part of your DNA, that's a part of my DNA. This is something that we just recently discovered. This whole thing of 10, 5, 6, 5. Well, what is amazing is with the numbers actually correspond with Jewish letters. The number, if you notice that there's 2 number 5s, both of those are H's. And then if you'll notice that the number 10 is a Y and the number 6 is a W, it's how the Jews spell Yahweh. And God's name is literally written in your DNA. Okay, well, you see how there's 2 number 5s and there's 2 H's. The word for both of those is behold, behold. The symbol for the Y is a hand, and the symbol for the W is a nail. The name Yahweh means behold the nails in my hands.
The atomic mass of the elements, the numbers of the atomic mass are the numbers that equate to the mysterious letters in the ancient alphabets. What that means is when you look at human DNA, or the DNA of any life, it is made of hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, carbon, and using gematria, the numbers that equate to those become 1, 5, 6, and 3. 3 is with the carbon. And when you then take a table, one of the ancient tables, and you're able to correlate those numbers with the letters, what we find, George, is that the human DNA is our genome is built in layers. And at the top layer, it's like every book has an introduction. The introduction in every cell of every form of life, carbon-based DNA, the introduction is the same. And the first translation literally reads, literal, God eternal within the body. God eternal within the body. And God that is depicted in the DNA is actually spelled the way that the name of God was spelled in the ancient texts before it was removed 6,800 times. In the Torah, for example, the sacred name of God is believed to be so sacred it cannot be written.
Share this with anyone who doubts we have a creator.
If simple water molecules that form ice crystals exhibit magnificent structure, consider the design ingenuity behind large, complex molecules, such as DNA. DNA contains the blueprint for all life and is by far the densest information storage mechanism known in the universe. For example, the amount of information contained in a pinhead volume of DNA would fill a stack of books 500 times higher than from here to the moon. The program code and design of such an incredible system indicates a supremely intelligent designer.
The evidence to me that just cries out that there's a God is the study of DNA. DNA is a very powerful, massive information storage system. In fact, DNA that makes up our genes actually is like books of information that's read by a language system. It's absolutely phenomenal. And scientists know today that languages, a code, only come from an intelligence, and information only comes from information. Nobody's ever seen matter by itself give rise to a code. Nobody's ever seen matter by itself give rise to information. And as you look at DNA, it actually cries out, in the beginning, God created the universe.
We all begin as a single cell the size of a period at the end of a sentence. How does that cell know how to build a body with 100 trillion cells in it, thousands of different kinds, and each one of them is so complex, nanochemical machinery beyond our comprehension how it works, and encoded is the instruction manual. It's the manufacturer's manual how to build and operate every part of this incredible body made up of 100 trillion cells.
Life. By definition, it is the condition that distinguishes animals and plants from inorganic matter, including the capacity for growth, reproduction, functional activity, and continual change preceding death. But is that all that life is? Birth, experience, and death? Or is there more? 1 Corinthians 6:19 says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God?" If we look at the molecular formation of our bodies, our temples, we can find clues to how connected we truly are to the Creator. One of them being His name on every strand of our DNA. Let me explain. In a single DNA strand, there contains nucleotides. Nucleotides are one of the most basic structural units, comprised of 3 parts: nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and phosphate. It is a building block, an organic molecule which may be joined together in a repeating fashion to form more complex molecules called polymers, such as DNA and proteins, that are fundamental to biological structure and function. The unique thing is the order in which sulfide bonds your 2 DNA strands together to make up the double helix. They occur after the 10th pair of nucleotides, again after the 5th pair, and 6 pairs later, and then again 5 pairs later. If we look in the Hebrew alphabet, we find the 10th letter is Yod, the 5th letter is He, and the 6th letter is Vav. Yod, He, Vav, He. These letters, mirroring the nucleotide sequence, spell the name Yahweh. That is the name of God used in the Hebrew Bible. Yahweh meaning, I am who I am. Looking at the situation through this lens, one could theorize on every human chromosome is the symbol of the divine, and a promise that you were made in His image and sealed with His name. I believe it is this divine design that the enemy desires to obliterate. By injecting loaded messenger RNA into cells, one can sneak fragments of foreign enemy DNA through the carefully guarded nuclear walls and unload their contents into the beautiful DNA that God wrote for you. Like cutting off your arm and giving you a mechanical one in its place, our DNA is being removed and replaced by a counterfeit one. Through my research, I believe the reality of what is happening is that the name of God, I am what I am, written into the sulfide bond arrangement in our DNA, is being erased and replaced with the inserted DNA loads of messenger RNA, with instructions for the protein factory to start manufacturing enemy spike proteins. This is a hijacking of not only our DNA, but I believe our spiritual connection to the Creator. A cleverly engineered coup on a worldwide scale to throw off the connection of God to His creation.
Why is this important? If we know that we have literally I am that I am in our DNA, first of all, I am. Whatever follows I am, that's what you become. So you literally have programmable DNA. You can program your DNA to do whatever you want. If we're saying I am X, Y, and Z, we literally are programming ourselves, programming every fiber of our bodies. So Christ, I have a video about Him going through the different mystery schools. You can find that video if you are interested in that video. It also comes with a PDF download. So this is important to know because in those mystery schools, they learn about diet. So diet, if you go to the Old Testament, diet was one of those things that they really heavily pushed in the Old Testament. It's because the diet cleanses the blood, purifies the blood. So when our blood is purified, literally the different parts of our body operate at a higher frequency. In mystery school, you learn about different rituals, what fabrics to use, what colors to use. All these have frequencies. So going back to the blood, we know that we have the power of God literally encoded in our DNA. That we can do the things that Christ did and even greater. Nowadays in modern Christianity, in the churches, in one branch or several branches of Christianity, that taking on the blood means like I act this way. I try to mimic Christ. No, literally, it means changing your DNA to match to the frequency of Christ. So therefore, you can take on the mind of Christ and do these things and even greater. You can walk on water. You can heal people. You can heal yourself.
Embark on a captivating journey through the ancient world of divination with the Bible's hidden divination and magic. Uncover what the Bible really says about these practices used by the high priests, prophets, and apostles. Explore diverse divination practices, including the various forms of casting lots, interpreting dreams, and the magical miracles of Elisha, Moses, and even Jesus. Delve into the unique forms of divination used by each of the 12 disciples, Apostle Paul's high magic, and the sacred rituals practiced on the holiest day in the Bible. Learn about herbal sorcery used in ancient rituals and the differences between condemnable and acceptable forms of divination.